So is Japan really maybe doomed on an apocalyptic level in the near future? Maybe, yeah. With the 3 government announcements I'm about to show you within the context I'm about to explain, unfortunately it's not just an over-the-top title to grab your attention. Japan news has been scary as of late, and I'm not exaggerating. There are real end-of-the-world level reports being put out, so let's cover them in depth. From an unprecedented government release of a Mount Fuji eruption evacuation plan to mega-quakes and population decimating tsunami warnings. I will say that my intention is still to always persuade you all to travel. It's a hard sell after that introduction, I know, but so I will pepper this all with what the government and experts say about how to stay safe during all this. Let's not panic, as people of Tokyo don't seem to be panicking at all either. So because time is wasting for us who are preparing for the end, let's dive into it. These are Japan's recent end-of-the-world level disaster announcements. Earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes. First, let's look at the first news that came out that shocked a lot of people, which is an unprecedented announcement from the Tokyo government giving detailed evacuation instructions in the case of a Mount Fuji eruption. And this CGI rendering of such a disaster was made by the Tokyo government in preparation for this announcement. For your information, 2 weeks ago on March 21st, Japan's government for the first time ever released guidelines and a system detailing countermeasures to be taken in the event of a large-scale eruption from Mount Fuji, with the terrifying statement that the predicted eruption could paralyze Tokyo for weeks. The fallout and evacuation plan is broken down into 4 danger levels, like a dang apocalypse video game. These levels are to be assigned to your neighborhood, depending on the level of ash and seismic destruction designated to your zone. So let me tell you exactly what precautions you should take should you receive these announcements. Back to my promise of peppering you with safety precautions if you are to travel in Tokyo during one of these events. I should also say though, of course, that Tokyo isn't the closest prefecture to Mount Fuji. These background videos are from Yamanashi, which directly borders volcano Fuji, a place close to my heart because I lived here for school. Anyway, preparations. For everyone, Fuji Toshisugu, the head of this panel, urges people to stockpile at least 1 week's worth of food and water, just in case. From there, let's say your Tokyo residence is classified as danger level 1. Imagine being in a cozy Tokyo apartment with your crush, maybe. And through the window, framed in the sunset, you see ash rising from Fuji in the distance, like this odd CGI-generated government video. And the announcement comes in that you are in a danger level 1. You're pretty fine. This is light ash in your area under 3 centimeters. You can still do stuff outside, but because any ash in the air can cause harm to your lungs and your eyes, wear goggles or a mask. It might just look like the Silent Hill style snowfall outside. I have actually experienced this myself in LA when we have had some of our famous West LA wildfires. It is terrifying, I won't say it's not, but it does also make for a vivid red sunset. Anyway, what if your phone buzzes with a level 2 danger warning while you're watching Mount Fuji erupt in the distance? This is when you begin to see the scenes of a hellscape with 3 to 10 centimeters of ash falling down around you. Driving will become dangerous due to low visibility, again as shown in this government rendition. You should avoid going outside if you can. Public transportation may also be halted. Ash falling from the sky is more hazardous than many people think, and it can become sticky and damage a lot of infrastructure when becoming wet. However, you are still supposed to remain indoors and not evacuate, keeping escape routes clear for those in higher danger levels. So buckle down in danger level 2 with your stockpile of food and maybe read some apocalypse-style manga. However, next, if you are alerted that you are in a danger level 3 zone, this is very much when you should probably get out of town. Categorized as having 10 to 30 centimeters of ash falling from the sky, power and water in your area may be shut off because the weight of the ash can damage infrastructure, especially if combined with rain or condensation, even becoming heavy enough to collapse wooden structures. Communications may even be cut off in danger level 3, making it hard for you to contact loved ones, become a very real end-of-the-world neighborhood. And from the government, quote, evacuation may be necessary. And of course, if you are in a stage 4, the final and highest danger level, this would be severe ash fall and you want to be gone. You want to be out of town. It's over 30 centimeters of ash, which alone could be extremely dangerous. Seismic activity may cause buildings to collapse as well. Danger level 4 is the worst case scenario, like what you imagine when you think of a volcano eruption on a disaster movie. This is what the Japanese government says could, quote, paralyze Tokyo for weeks. Evacuate immediately, roads could be blocked, essential services could fail. So with that, let's pray none of us are ever in a level 4. So with all that though, why did the government suddenly announce this? They never have before, and the University of Tokyo officials that head the panel did not include any reports that the volcanic activity had changed from always. And if you didn't already know, Mount Fuji has always been an active volcano and always might erupt soon. Maybe the answer to that lies within the next couple of chilling announcements the government of Japan has made, like the much more urgent warning of Mount Shin Moedake in Kyushu issued by the meteorological agency just weeks later. Let's touch on this before I get to the real apocalypse warning Japan just issued as well. For Mount Shinmodake, news was released restricting entry to the area around the volcano and raising the alert in the region from level 2 to level 3. Now, not to confuse anyone, but this level system is on a different metric from the previous discussed Mount Fuji danger levels. It's a different agency and possibly a different translation. But what this means is don't go near the mountain, not in the future, but right now. Volcanic rocks falling from the sky could reach within 4 kilometers away, which is 2.5 miles for my American friends. On this metric, level 2 advises people to avoid approaching, but level 3 is a restriction on entry. And it was raised from level 1 to level 2 just on December of last year. So the urgency for this is progressing steadily and rapidly. Again, unlike Mount Fuji's announcement. So it is more scary in my opinion, even if it is on a lesser scale. And a somber reminder that Japan is riddled with active volcanoes that could be triggered by seismic activity, like the actual eruption of the Mount Sakurajima volcano just about 2 months ago. Now you may be saying after all this, Wes, this all seems to happen all the time. Is this not the norm in Japan and something we don't really need to worry about? And yeah, I would actually agree usually, except for when it's put into the context of the Mega-quake announcement Japan just made. This is the news that made me want to make this video, with some frightening predictions and even a touch of the supernatural. So, a government panel announced that nearly 300,000 people could die in Japan during a predicted Nankai Trough Mega-quake, and there's an 80% chance of this Mega-quake happening within the next 30 years, saying the area is overdue for a major seismic event. The Nankai Trough is here in the sea off the coast of big cities such as Osaka and even close-ish to Tokyo too. An earthquake from here would affect 10 prefectures and cause tsunamis with waves of up to 30 meters high. This is a nightmare. These tsunamis would be the most dire concern, although the predictions continue to state that up to 52,000 people could even lose their lives to the disaster due to proximity while having medical issues such as even stress, which is a lot of stress, and these simulations show me that. What a horrific visual effects job that must have been. Experts from the JMA say that this trough is hit with a megaquake every 100 to 150 years or so, and the last one was in 1946. To me, this doesn't seem like overdue, but I'm glad it's being met with urgency still, because the projected death toll aside, if this happens again, the country could see upwards of 1.23 million evacuees, and Japan could face an economic loss of 270.3 trillion yen, which is 1.8 trillion US dollars. That is an apocalypse. So how doomed is Japan from all this? It depends on what the government does, and since the earthquake of 2011 devastated the country, Japan's government recognized that they were underprepared and proceeded to increase measures of disaster prevention. The country also has a strict building code, making structures made after the year of 1981 to be quite earthquake resistant, something you should check on if you ever get an apartment in the area. And the government is making further plans in case of a tsunami that is caused by such a megaquake. These plans assume that most coastal residents will not have time to evacuate in the case of such an event, as well assuming that residents will be more prepared than they were 10 years ago, so pre-2011 disaster. More relevant to this channel possibly, the panel did also look into travelers in Japan during an incident like this, finding that they currently have inadequate access to information and humanitarian supplies. So, a couple tips from me to you if you're planning a trip under these circumstances. First is something that I did not do for the longest time. It's register with your country's embassy in Japan, showing where you plan to be and when. This can allow them to provide quick assistance in the event of an earthquake, tsunami, volcano, etc. Also, learn the local evacuation areas. These can be found on Japan's specific earthquake prevention apps. The most popular ones being Nerve Disaster Prevention app, yes, just like the anime, I think that's wild, the Safety Tips app, and finally the Yurekuru Call app. And I don't know why all of these have not the best ratings on the App Store. All accounts I looked into, they should all work fine. As for a tsunami, the government urges residents to get to higher ground, which I hope I will have the state of mind to remember the most simple of things like that in the event of like a 30-meter wave of water coming up on me. Yikes. And also, try to evacuate coastal areas as soon as the earthquake hits. It is predicted that everyone doing so can reduce tsunami deaths by 70%, which is very much more desirable. I looked into this so much more and I really didn't find anything else the government was doing after announcing this, but I will keep you all updated if I do. Estimates say that this earthquake could be a magnitude of 8 or 9, which is staggering. And I think that it's no surprise that this news, within the context of the 7.7 magnitude earthquake that struck Myanmar and Thailand recently on March 28th, which claimed more than 3,500 lives, has put everyone in the position to prepare government disaster response in Japan on high alert. The images from that disaster are truly numbing to witness. Again, I feel like so much of this news came in such quick succession, which is why I wanted to compile this all into one video after releasing this news in short form content over the period of a couple weeks. But something I have not made content on is the supernatural element that I mentioned. And it is that a person famous for shocking supernatural predictions that have come true, named Ryo Tatsuki, has also predicted an impending earthquake for Japan. Her first known prediction to come true was in 1991. She had a dream about Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen, and a few months later he passed away. So she began sharing the predictions she had in her dreams. Later in 1995, she predicted a massive earthquake in Kobe, Japan. And this earthquake happened, taking the lives of over 6,000 people, and most famous of all, she predicted the aforementioned 2011 earthquake and tsunami in Fukushima. This woman now said she saw a dream of an even bigger disaster, a mega tsunami that could hit Japan in July of 2025, 3 months from now, and I will actually be in Japan during that time, so I will let you know. In her dream, she described the sea south of Japan as bubbling up, which could indicate an underwater volcano eruption or something along those lines. So, a lot of things to think about. Again though, Japan has always been a hotbed for seismic events. I've known that since I first moved to the country about 9 years ago. Sure, I have experienced earthquakes and even some floods. It has always seemed to be a country and society that is very well prepared and equipped to deal with such disasters. These things can happen anywhere, as shown by when I came back to visit family in Los Angeles, the LA fires happened a couple months ago. My motto is always be prepared, but don't build your life around the worst case scenario. So do with this information what you may, and please subscribe for more videos centered around Japan news and my adventures in the country. Studying abroad or working abroad, please give me any suggestions in the comments on what you would like me to cover. I plan to release videos similar to this weekly at least. This all was admittedly a much more heavy topic than I usually cover, but I do have interest in true crime and spooky cults in Japan and stuff, so let me know if I should talk about stuff like that too. I'm doing all the research anyway, just for my personal fascination. Subscribe, please like and comment. You all are absolute legends for checking out my content. Stay safe and register your trips with your local embassy. And know your local evacuation area. For me, it was always like a local school. Bye.